Our mission is simple. We create connections for the homeless community to resources and hope. We are compassion in action. Our staff, volunteers, and donors tangibly demonstrate God's love for the poor through humble service. Through our outreaches, we provide our guests with the essentials to survive a day: food, socks, hygiene kits, and prayer. Thereafter, we connect our guests with resources that will help them to a better tomorrow: housing, rehab, employment, clothing, and so many other things.
It's about getting down on the sidewalk and listening, hearing people's stories, understanding their needs. It begins with a cup of soup, which leads to a conversation about hope, and that conversation may change the trajectory of someone's life.
A human being's deepest longing is for connection. Connection to God and connection to others. People living on the street are nearly always isolated, too often shunned by society. Our volunteers strive to create community relationships, interdependence, and we pass out a whole lot of soup. It isn't about fixing people, it's about giving people a place to belong. Our donors share their material blessings so that we can run a weekly mobile outreach schedule that's consistent and reliable. Outreach locations are a place of refuge for the homeless. By showing up as a donor or volunteer, you allow us to provide stability, and stability staves off despair.
Recently, as COVID spread through our area, it began hitting low-income and homeless communities the hardest. Our unique ability to operate outdoors allowed us to respond, serving hot meals to people that would otherwise go hungry. We were ready with meals and to-go bags, hand washing stations, masks, 6-foot distance markers, thermometers, hand sanitizer, and resource sheets for other services throughout the city. Our donors kept pace with us, meeting our guests' increasing needs. PPE, snacks for those waiting in lines, hand sanitizer for staff, all this and more came pouring in.
Our out-of-town volunteer teams inspired us by sending prayers and encouragement. Incredibly, they also donated their trip deposits and much, much more. We also found a deeply dedicated group of local volunteers along the way. Because of their commitment, we never missed an outreach in 2020.
The global engineer team from Perkins & Will designed a portable, street-side office for our outreaches, combining privacy and safety. So we haven't had to sacrifice the personal, face-to-face approach of which we are so proud. We've also added free prepaid cell phone distribution to support our one-on-one follow-up care. And there is nothing quite like being there when a guest uses one of these phones to call home and reconnect with family members. Lewis used the phone we gave him to call his family for the first time in 16 years.
To the individuals, foundations, and companies that have rushed to our side, we thank you. You've allowed us to innovate in the way that we serve so that meals and personal one-on-one care can continue during this difficult season. As the fight against homelessness, poverty, and addiction intensifies, it is beyond encouraging to know that we have a dedicated group of donors, volunteers, and staff fighting for the lives of those living on the street.